All right, welcome in everybody on the heels of Joe George. As today, boy, we have so much. You can never put enough when it comes to the amount of differing things going on in the world of soccer into this show. But we're going to put as much into it tonight as we possibly can, and we've got African Cup of Nations updates tonight, and then Thursday, always presented by the Daspit Law Firm, streaming at ESPN975.com. Call in number 713-780-3776. That's 713-780-3776, ESPN. I feel like I'm on a Caribbean vacation. It's very, very toasty in this room. Very toasty. Okay, podcast of all of our shows, Google, Apple, Spotify, plus you get it right here at the station, ESPN975.com. All right, Soccer Matters question of the week is, who is the manager that you would want to play for more than any other if you were a player? Who is the manager that you would want to play for more than any other? You can simply just give me the name of the guy, or you can give me the name and the reasoning why. Maybe it's Jurgen Klopp. Maybe it's Pep Guardiola. Maybe it's a lower profile manager that's up and coming. Maybe it's Andre Jardine of Club America. Rinus Michels of the Netherlands. Helmut Schoen, Diego Simeone, Atletico Madrid. Give me your take, because I really want to hear from you tonight. 713-780-3776. 713-780-3776. Who is the manager that you would want to play for more than any other? For me, I would go right now with Carlo Ancelotti of Real Madrid. Love his management style. Love the fact that he gives players freedom. Probably doesn't overcoach it within the game model that he has. So I'm going with Real Madrid's Carlo Ancelotti. 713-780-3776, 713-780-3776. Guillermo, who would be the coach that you wanted to play for?
All right, so the coach that I would want to play for is very specific, Antonio Mohamed, when he's coaching Los Rayados. Because every time he would coach that team, and every time just watching that team, you can feel the excitement. Every time they would counterattack, every time they would interact, every time they would score a goal. And I just want to be part of that team and feel that excitement under that coach, under that football.
So the fact that you're a huge Rayados fan has nothing to do with that, right?
Absolutely not.
It's simply about
unbiased.
Antonio Mohamed, who's from Buenos Aires, Argentina, was a great player in Liga MX as well with Monterrey. Played there, of course, played in Italy. Didn't play much in Italy, but was a Boca Juniors product. Toros Neza is the place that he tore it up as a player. 50 goals and 180 appearances. I remember him back in those days. He's had a long managerial career. I think you're talking about the period of 2015 to 2018, if there's any Monterrey fans out there. And then he took the team over again in 19 to 20. And currently went to Unam Pumas. That one's got to hurt, though, for you, Guillermo.
Yeah, but it's just the way these things are. Managers come and go. They'll manage different teams. You know, he was in America before coming to Rayados, so it's just the coaches cycling the league.
It's crazy the amount of teams he's coached. Morelia, Querétaro, Chiapas, Huracan in Argentina, Veracruz, Colón, Independiente, Tijuana, back again to Huracan, Club America, Monterrey, Celta de Vigo, Huracan, Monterrey, Atletico Mineiro in Brazil. I mean, he's had a suitcase that's been packed pretty much his entire career. All right, so 713-780-3776 is the number to call in here tonight to let us know who would you like to pick as your coach if you were a player. So many great managers, so many good choices. Maybe there's a U.S. manager somebody wants to speak about. Maybe you like what Bruce Arena did, a U.S. legend in coaching. 713-780-3776. All right, so as we are on the topic of Monterrey, let's go to Brandon Vasquez, because what a great start he's had at Monterrey. Now, remember, we've been talking about this on the show. He's got 3 goals in 3 appearances. He was acquired for a reported $7.5 million with a transfer sell-on fee. Target man. Okay, he looks like one. Big, strong, powerful. We had all this conversation about this being a lateral move and, he should have went to Europe. Now, listen, you can make a heck of a great argument for Borussia Mönchengladbach and the German Bundesliga. There's no question. Alexi Lalas was on the show. He pointed out that, obviously Major League Soccer couldn't afford to keep him financially because of a salary cap. But remember, you always have to factor in the desires of players to experiment and try and ply their craft in other leagues around the world, in foreign countries, and in differing soccer cultures. In fact, that's what Cade Cowell said about Chivas, and we'll talk about him in a minute, who goes from San Jose to that cauldron. But these two guys have now gone to situations and setup in Liga MX that brings far more pressure from the standpoint of fans, media, than anything they've had in MLS. And that's a real question for Major League Soccer. When do we want to really fully embrace the healthy pressure? I think the soccer culture and, the deep dive on teams and tactics and all, I think it's differing in different markets. I think there's a lot of independent guys who do very, very good work. I don't think we have that in Houston, and that's an element if you want to be successful as a club. We've talked about many, many times on this show. We don't have healthy pressure for our MLS product here. There's no question. It's just where it is. I would have thought it would have been farther along at this time. So anyway, Cincinnati couldn't keep him financially, but that doesn't mean he wasn't going to leave anyway. That's something to consider, though, is taking sort of the cap away. And with Inter Miami now doing things the way they're doing, there's a big push from a lot of people in the media now to let's let teams spend more. But don't ever forget that players want the opportunity to play in different countries, prove themselves out in differing leagues, and do things in different environments. All right, so speaking of that, let's go to Brandon Vazquez. 2 goals in the first half. Monterrey beating Atlético San Luis 3-1.
Sergio Canales también aparece ahí como un volante ofensivo detrás de la posición de Brandon Vázquez.
El centro, el remote, cabeza, golazo. ¡Golazo! ¡Qué manera de estrenarse de Brandon Vázquez! No era fácil meter ese frentazo. Atlético de San Luis sigue perteneciendo al Atlético de Madrid, por supuesto. Aquí la tiene el corcho. Servicio para Brandon. ¡Brandon! Tercero de Brandon Vázquez en el fútbol mexicano. Esto es lo que hace un 9 de área.
So let's talk a little bit about Brandon Vazquez. Goes from Major League Soccer to Monterrey. All right, this is an incredible soccer capital. We have tons of Monterrey Rayados fans here. We have tons of Tigres fans here in Houston. They go back across the border to watch their two teams play. But this is a phenomenal start for him in Liga MX. And by the way, if you want to make an impact as a goal scorer, you got to do it early. He does that. Typical target man, there's no question. It's a pretty simple formula for him at Monterrey Rayados, and that is be where the ball's ultimately going to be inside the box. It's as simple as that. It's where the ball's ultimately going to be there. The one header he had was a driven-in ball that he just sort of glanced and guided over the goalkeeper to the far post. Now, that goal was special, and it's special because of the element of awareness that he showed on that play. That's a striker who knew where he was. That's a striker who's indigenous to his environment and moving in a way that, even though he's away from goal, he understands where the goal is. And, of course, the pace is in the delivery. Now, how about Cade Cowell? Life has changed for him going from San Jose to the cauldron of passion that is Chivas in Mexico. He's now playing under Fernando Gago after Veljko Paunovic left there. That's not only is that a tough place to be put into, it's also a place that's got some problems right now, right? He's come off the bench in 2 games, including at Tigres, has played well. I don't call this a lateral move. Europe isn't the last bastion of the definition of a career. Okay, yeah, Brandon Vasquez probably got paid a lot more. Yeah, sure. Does this hurt the fact that he's playing in Liga MX's chances to play for the Mexican national team? I mean, for the U.S. national team? Better watch myself there. We're not offloading Mexico, hands off. We already got Brandon. But he's, after this performance, he's turning heads. And if he keeps scoring goals down there in a different soccer culture, it's a good thing. And here's the other piece that you have to add into this. He may be asked, as simple as I made it, he's got to be in the box. There's other elements of his game that can improve technically in Liga MX. And there may be things that he's going to be able to add to his game to make him a more well-rounded forward based on the culture of Mexico and the demands of a coach and the tactics of a coach. So that's to be seen. It's not to say that couldn't have happened in Germany. I'm just saying, I don't think Greg Berhalter, I don't think the U.S. national team, if this guy is scoring goals regularly in Mexico and playing well, I don't think that hurts his chances for the U.S. national team in a position that, frankly, all right, maybe Folarin Balogun is the main guy right now, but he's a very different player than Folarin Balogun. So I'm keeping an eye on and rooting for Brandon Vasquez, and I'm rooting for Cade Cowell as well. Cowell said this, going to Chivas. This is a step up in pressure, both internally at that club with the problems they have, and then the pressure from the outside, which is media and fans. And he said this to The Athletic about going to Chivas. He said, quote, "If you do well, you're their Ronaldo. If you do bad, they want to throw rocks at you." He cited also wanting to be uncomfortable. And here's what he said. And this is where, some people are saying, well, Brandon Vasquez took the comfortable route. Yeah, I don't know if that's that comfortable. He's got to go there and produce. And in fact, that's a lot more pressure than he had in Cincinnati. A different type of pressure, but it's a real pressure. And these guys are talking about, you don't do well, you're probably not out in public too much. But back to Cowell, he said, quote, "It's really easy to be comfortable, What I really wanted to do was be uncomfortable, to try something new league, new culture, new everything." I absolutely love that from a young player. And honestly, in my life where I am right now, when there's things I don't want to do, I force myself, not every time, but a lot of times to go and do them, to get out of the comfort zone. Because we can all get on that hamster wheel, right? Where every day it's the same, it's easy. Simply moving this show to 7 to 8 twice a week changes our format here a little bit. Changes the way we look at the show and want to present it. All right. Jordy Reyes is a big soccer fan. And, Jordy, you got a take on who you would want to play for. Who is it?
Yeah, so for me, it's got to be El Tuca Ferretti. I just think the discipline and the way all of the players respected him, they don't make him like him anymore. So I definitely want to play under him. I think if I was under him, I'd be fully focused. And, yeah, I remember that small little run that he had with the Mexican national team. And there's this one clip on social media that's so funny. It's him showing them how to hit a volley because it was at the training ground and he was mad.
I remember that video.
He was like, "This is how you hit the ball," in Spanish. And
he got nuts. But he also, as a thank you to Mexico, did not get paid for that, and took over the Mexican national team as a thank you for all the years that he had been in Mexico and the treatment that he had gotten. But Tuca Ferretti, that's as good a choice as you get. Well, we jumped the gun on Zeppelin here. Zeppelin was supposed to be coming back. That's okay. It's okay. You can always play Zeppelin twice, right? It's Led Zeppelin, after all. It's communication breakdown. It's a great song. 713-780-3776. All right, Jordy goes with Tigres. Guillermo goes with Antonio Mohamed. Jordy goes with Tuca Ferretti. These are two great choices. Who would be your manager if you were a player? Who would you want to play under? I took Carlo Ancelotti because of the freedom within structure that he provides. 713-780-3776. 713-780-3776. John Daspit, the Daspit Law Firm, presenting sponsor of Soccer Matters, ESPN 97.5. We'll take a break.
This is Soccer Matters on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Brought to you by the Daspit Law Firm. From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Glenn Davis.
All right, this is Grace Jones, Jamaican-born, song called Night Clubbing. Quarterfinals are set for the African Cup of Nations. Welcome back to Soccer Matters, ESPN 97.5, presented by John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm. John and his firm, personal injury attorneys, are going to handle your case. They're going to work for you 24/7, nights and weekends. John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm. Car, boat, motorcycle, nobody wants to get in these types of situations. If you do, you need the best in personal injury attorneys, especially the one that supports the game that you love in Houston. All right, Daspit Law Firm, our presenting sponsor. By the way, 713-780-3776. What coach would you want to play under? Got two offerings up from the Mexican League here. Where people have sent me on social media, Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, got an Arsene Wenger. Who would you like to play for? 713-780-3776. All right. Quarterfinals are set. It'll be Nigeria and Angola, Congo and Guinea on Friday. Saturday, it's Mali against the Ivory Coast. Cape Verde will take on the Bafana of South Africa. So there's been some crazy upsets, some amazing things that have occurred, as it always does, in the African Cup of Nations that's going on right now in the Ivory Coast. All right, so let's go to Ivory Coast. All right, they fire their coach in the first round. Then, basically, they get in as one of the better fourth-place teams as the host nation. And then they decide to play their best ever game in this tournament against Senegal. So here's how this game went. Senegal and Sadio Mane in the fourth minute, they'll get the opening goal. Habib Diallo will be the man who scores it.
As Mane swings in across a little bit of space in the box, struck hard and into the back of the net. And what a start for Senegal. And what a start for Habib Diallo.
So Senegal then drops off. They're playing with, five across the back. Very pragmatic. Counterattack is on for them with Mane and company. And then 86th minute, as the Ivory Coast is just banging away at them, they get a penalty, and to tie the game, it's Frank Kessie.
Hands on hips for Kessié. Up he steps, up against Mendy, and he finds the back of the net. And Ivory Coast are level, and an enormous cheer comes out of this stadium and across the country. And all the substitutes run off the bench to celebrate with Kessié.
By the way, it goes to extra time. There's no winner. Really dramatic. And guess who hits the winning penalty for the Ivory Coast? Again, it's Kessie.
Kessié, meanwhile, can start a huge party across the Ivory Coast if he can convert this one kick of the ball. And he does! And Ivory Coast are through to the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations. And Kessié has done it again, and he celebrates again with a tribute to his late father. And there are scenes of absolute pandemonium inside the Charles Konan Stadium once again.
So here's a team now that after this game all of a sudden has amazing momentum, support of an entire nation now as the host country. Do not be surprised if they go on to win this thing. These tournaments are all about moments, platforms, singular plays. The fact that they even advanced was pretty remarkable in itself. Now, today, Sissoko got the winning goal for Mali against Burkina Faso. That would advance them to the quarterfinals. They win 2-1.
This is where he has to earn his noses as a chance comes up here, popping up, and a chance! As they did! They took 3 minutes in the first half. They took 1 in the second half. And who else would it be? Alan Lassine Sinayoko. Double the tally, double the goods. It's the 2 wings that the Eagles are now soaring on.
Well, Mali has the Ivory Coast on Saturday. That's going to be a big one. South Africa advancing to Boho Mokoena, sealing the game off in the 90th plus 5 minutes. Spectacular free kick. That makes it 2-0 over Morocco, who, by the way, was in the semifinals of the World Cup in Qatar. So here's what it sounded like.
It's a very good kick. It's another goal. South Africa make it 2-0. And they are heading into the quarterfinals.
All right, let's get on to some other topics here. So there's the African Cup of Nations. Quarterfinals will be Friday and Saturday. It's a great watch. You can catch it on BN Sports. Let's talk about a couple of things here. Jurgen Klopp saying that at the end of the season it's over. This is real motivation for the current Liverpool team. Seems very much that it's all about him, the stress, the pressure of the job. But let me tell you, you lose Jurgen Klopp from the Premier League, you are losing a fantastic personality. Not only that, the class with which he goes about and the oozing of the love that he has for the game, which in a world of very commercial football now, that is something that is always so attractive. So Jurgen Klopp's going to be a big loss. Here's Jurgen Klopp on will he ever work again as a manager? He will.
If you ask me, will you ever work as a manager again? I would say now, no. But I don't know, obviously, how that will feel because I never had the situation. What I know definitely, I will never ever manage a different club in England than Liverpool. 100%. That's not possible. My love for this club, my respect for the people is so big I couldn't for a second think about it. There's no chance. This is part of my life, part of family. We feel home here. There's no chance to do that. Wow.
Don't you love that loyalty? So there's easy theorizing. What's the word I'm looking for? Could make the theory that he could be the next manager of Germany. Right? 1 year from now, maybe he wants a national team job, but he made it pretty clear he's not coming back to the Premier League. Okay, let's go to, here's Xavi, who also says he's stepping down at the end of the season. Rafa Marquez has been behind the scenes with the board of members at FC Barcelona. He is angling for the job. It's kind of unsavory in my mind that he came out as aggressively as he did after the recent result where Barcelona lost and he's coaching the second team and they beat Real Madrid. I think he should have been quiet, shown more respect. But I think the fact that he's angling as hard as he is for the job tells you that maybe he's not on the list of the board of directors and the president. But here's Xavi on giving Barcelona his all.
Pues bueno, yo creo que no hay duda de que he sido un hombre de club. He priorizado al club por encima de mí. Lo he dado todo y más, y lo voy a seguir dando estos 4 meses para que el club gane títulos o por lo menos que la afición se sienta orgullosa, ¿no? de que lo damos todo en el campo.
So he goes on to say that he's given everything to the club. He has been and he will continue to do so for the rest of the season because he believes that he wants to make this team go out and fight so that the fans can feel proud and maybe even somehow win a title.
So that was Xavi. And then, of course, everybody right away starts linking people, Now, Arteta's a silly one to link because he's working on the progress of Arsenal and is working very, very well on this thing. And he's in the midst of this project. And to even think that he would leave in a quick moment to go to Barcelona, not saying I know, but I can't see him leaving what he's doing and building with Arsenal, who, by the way, won today after a huge blunder by Matt Turner, the U.S. international, in goal for Nottingham Forest. But Arteta, well, he just calls it fake news.
Are you leaving the club in the summer?
Who, me? No, that's totally fake news. What you read yesterday is, I don't know where it's coming from, and it's totally untrue. I'm really upset about it.
Yeah, because people throwing that rumor out there, it's unsettling for the club. It might be unsettling for players, although he's in the locker room assuring them he's not going anywhere. So, good for Arteta. Now, more coaches today in the news. South Korea advancing in the Asian Cup. They are coached by former U.S. international, former German World Cup winner Jurgen Klinsmann, and they win in the Asian Cup today.
Hwang Hee-chan of Wolverhampton Wanderers, who was a hero against Portugal in the Education City Stadium at the World Cup for Korea Republic, returns to this very place to once again be a hero. It is a magnificent way to conclude a magnificent comeback. Hwang Hee-chan has once again brought joy to the Korea Republic fans at the Education City Stadium in Qatar.
So Jurgen Klinsmann wins that over, and you might not even know he's there, Roberto Mancini, who's the coach of Saudi Arabia. I mean, man, Saudi money is just bringing everybody and anybody. By the way, I'm wearing a baseball hat in studio. You know, Guillermo, I look at all the guys that come on the air here, other shows during a lot of guys with baseball hats. So I was like, you know what? It's my turn.
I feel like you could argue that baseball might be the sports city or the city sport.
You can't argue that with me. Soccer's the city sport. Football. Got people from all over the world. No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, but they're not wearing Astros hats always. I think Joe was. No, Joe was wearing an ESPN hat. All right, 713-780-3776, 713-780-3776. All right, speaking of Saudi Arabia, Inter Miami gets beat by Al Hilal. So does that prove the Saudi League is better than MLS? That's what people are saying. It hurts. It hurts. And Neymar may be going to Miami. It really hurts. We're going to judge it all in that one game. Just kidding. Relax. But on the other hand, when you parade yourself out around the world, you do want to look good. And MLS, who obviously through Messi and friends is trying to spread the MLS product around the world, you lose 4-3 in Saudi Arabia. Do you get the sense that MLS and Saudi Arabia are any type of competition? I don't think so. I don't think MLS can compete with that money. Quality of play, lifestyle, culture, that's all a part of it. That's why Messi turned down the Saudi money. But if you're going for the cabbage or you're going for the lettuce and the green, you're going to Saudi Arabia. It's a great place to fall back to, right? If you're a manager. Jorge Jesus is the manager of Al Hilal, who just failed at Fenerbahce in Turkey. Or semi-failed. Great manager. But it's nice to have the fallback position and the safety net of Saudi Arabian money. Or is the bigger question that Inter Miami and Messi pose simply that it is time to lift the restrictions on roster spend in MLS? Do you want to go bigger? Do we want to loosen the purse strings a little bit? The survival of the league came because it was a centralized league. There's an awful lot of things that are common amongst the teams in the league. Best practices, a lot of things. Everybody wears Adidas. Everybody's on Apple. We've now effectively killed off and or are continuing to kill off. Well, local television's been killed off in MLS. You've lost a lot of the local guys, and a lot of teams are not interested in radio. So I don't know. This is not going to jive with the owner, though, that came into this league and was sold this league under the guise of salary cap, right? Controlled expense, where teams share and clubs share the profits. But I don't think there's any owners, quite frankly, that are upset that stars are being stockpiled in Miami from a competitive standpoint, because they all stand to gain financially. A happy Messi, and Messi scoring goals, and a Miami team coming to town as a star/celebrity team. Now they're talking about Neymar there. I don't know how all that works. I got no problems with what Inter Miami's doing. I'm not concerned about the age of the players. I don't care when that's a completely different discussion. We're not building the roster. It's up to them to make it work. It's up to Tata Martino and his staff. Can all these older guys last? That's all on the competitive staff, Tata Martino and company. It certainly is going to be interesting to watch if they can pull it off. That's a draw. Can this great manager navigate all these stars? And now Beckham and Moss say Neymar. Neymar's claiming he's got to deal with them. It's like the migration of the lemmings to Miami now. Everybody wants to go to Miami. Is that for lifestyle or football? Jeez, that's a tough one to figure out, right? Of course you want to go play for Inter Miami. Anyway, it's all good. By the way, getting hotter by the moment. The National Hockey League to Houston. This rumor continues to percolate. It's an indoor sport, and it would be at Toyota Center. NHL is the top of the game in the world. And this would be another option for sports fans in Houston. Of course it would. And the fact that it's indoors and it's under air conditioning, that's a draw for casual type fans. And it depends on a fan base and how deeply integrated they are to their sport. Lots of authentic soccer fans are out there that will go to soccer matches, will not care about the NHL, and will sit in 90 degrees and drink beer. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know how you see this. 713-780-3776. 713-780-3776. This is The Clash, brand new Cadillac. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. The artist Betirri is going to join me. He's got a lot of, well, first of all, he's a very good artist. But the second thing is he's going to talk to us about the Goal Park project here tonight, goalpark.org, which is a project in Edo to continue to kind of expand out and grow the Edo area when it comes to community and many, many other things. So we'll talk to him about that project. All right, with that, we take a break. Topper Heaton on drums, The Clash.
This is Soccer Matters on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Brought to you by the Daspit Law Firm. From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Glenn Davis.
All right, welcome back to Soccer Matters on ESPN 97.5. By the way, go down and see Quinn and all my friends at Cactus Music, the best in vinyl, Cactus Music. You go in there, it's like going into a music hall of fame, to be honest with you. There's all kinds of memorabilia, great in-store shows, the best in vinyl. It's Cactus Music. Out on I-10, it's Hugh O'Connor's Pub. That's where you want to go. Hugh O'Connor's Pub. Go see my buddy Dave, Goose out there. Great whiskey offerings, beer. Thursday night, great steak night. Great place to go. Hugh O'Connor's Pub, home of the Liverpool supporters groups. All right, two quick things I want to get here before I get to Betirri, the artist, on the Goal Park project. Up in Austin, this is pretty incredible. So they bring in the new sports director. They have not really done a lot with their roster when it comes to getting people excited. Rodolfo Borrell was an assistant to Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. He said this, quote, "Since I landed," all right, enough of Guns N' Roses, we can kill them. Rodolfo Borrell says, "Since I landed, we are working with the scouting department, and I have identified lots and lots of players that would be very interesting for our organization." This is him talking about Austin FC. He says, "It's frustrating we're not able to bring them in. Having said that, this is me coming in and understanding that I am the one who has to adapt to the country and not the country having to adapt to me." So that's number one. So that's clear indication Rodolfo Borrell at Austin FC is trying to figure out the strategy and the rules of Major League Soccer when it comes to a roster build, right? Then he goes on to say, of greater concern is the level of coaching, which this surprises me, quite frankly. He says the level of coaching, he's basically talking about Josh Wolf and the staff at Austin FC. He said, quote, has to prove massively. Borrell, it appears, remains a backer of Wolf despite the fact that Austin failed to make the postseason in 2023 after finishing second in the West the year before. Borrell noted that Wolf is a young coach who has, quote, a lot of room for improvement, but also one who's continually learning and is very passionate, very dedicated, very much identified with what we're trying to do at the club. By the way, not many clubs in MLS will let their sporting director come out and be that upfront about it. Now, I don't know if this is a little bit of Rodolfo Borrell kind of protecting himself right now because maybe he doesn't have the roster he wants, but that's interesting. Marcus Rashford apparently likes tequila. Went on a 12-hour tequila drinking binge in Belfast, Ireland. Now, you remember, Rashford was honored over and over with his wonderful efforts to bring to the attention of England child poverty, reestablishing free meals, was meeting the Queen. Very noble, huge attention. But at that time, I thought it was way overboard. How can a young guy like this be able to manage being a professional soccer player and prioritize it with this ridiculous amount of personal attention? I wondered how he would navigate it. It's not too good. I mean, let's not make a joke about alcohol abuse, for sure. I don't want to do that. But we got 3 teams in Texas who, would love for you to join, and we got a lot of tequila down here. Nah, that's a bad joke. But his career, interesting. He's only got 4 goals this year. It sort of parallels Jadon Sancho. And if you're a Manchester United fan, I mean, who is really the leader of that team? There is none. Hugely talented guys. There is no leader of that team. All right, let's go to the phone lines. He is Betirri, the artist. I've known him for a number of years. His artwork is fantastic. He's also involved in a project called Goal Park Project. You go to goalpark.org in order to learn about it. Betirri, thank you for coming on tonight.
Hi, Glenn. Thank you for having me tonight.
Always a pleasure. You and I met a long time ago, and you've actually been on this show before when you were doing some great, famous jerseys of famous footballers in their country's colors. So we'll talk about your career artistically in a minute, but I just want to give you an open platform to talk about this beautiful project, beautiful vision with a big purpose in Edo. So go for it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Glenn. So we started, I had this vision back in 2017 of pretty much enhance part of the Colombia Tap Trail. The Colombia Tap Trail, it is a bike path that goes from East Downtown to the Medical Center, 4 miles. So with Goal Park, we're enhancing 1 mile or 7 blocks that are located right in East Downtown. The first block, it's in front of across the street of Dynamo Stadium, and we're enhancing this trail through placemaking, highlighting 4 pillars that we have identified for this trail, which are innovation, culture, athletics, and nature. We're kind of creating a unique lifestyle for residents in this community to really enjoy outdoors through these 4 pillars. So we're very excited about what's coming to East Downtown as far as this public space. We are a non-profit organization built from community members or members from different from the community itself. So we are very, very, very excited that the project is moving forward.
Betirri joining us here tonight, and Betirri, you're going to love this. I'm going to call this mixed media, right? Like it's beautification, it's nature, it's sports, it's art, it's a whole bunch of things which would be perfect with the timing of the 2026 World Cup. Can this happen, and who funds it?
Yes, exactly. And so we put ourselves this deadline to have Goal Park built by early 2026 to really welcome all the World Cup fans in Houston. And this project will be funded in public and partnership. Public and private partnerships. We're working with different government entities, such as Edo Management District, the Tourist 15, Council Member, the Office of Council Member Joaquin Martinez, also the Office of the new mayor. So that's on the public side, but also we are reaching out to different companies so that they potentially can sponsor the project. We're talking to big corporations such as Shell Energy, different oil and energy corporations that they will be interested in sponsoring the project. So it will be a public and a private partnership.
Have you reached out to the Houston Dynamo?
So I did reach out back in 2018 when we were in very, very early stages. So now, because they have a new ownership, we want to reach out to them again and just represent the project, reintroduce the project to them so that they know exactly where we're standing, and hopefully they can join or be part of the project.
Well, this is a very creative undertaking. Goalpark.org is where you go to learn about this. Obviously, Betirri and this vision is seeking out sponsorship. Goal Park Project, very community-based thing. And my understanding, you live in that area, right?
Yes, exactly. And this is one of the reasons that I got involved with it. I used to go to the Dynamo games and looking at this area, which actually the Columbus Tap, it's not very safe. But now living here, we use it a lot. We use it to walk, to bike. So the idea was to really enhance through all these activities, make it just safer, greener, and I love this area. It's just changing. There is a lot of passion from different community members to really beautify Houston. So I think we're just in time to make it happen and have as many people on board. And so that's also actually one of the things that we're looking right now. We're looking for volunteers, people to help us, since all the members right now, they're doing it are doing it on our time or volunteer basis. We just need more help. We need to really spread the word and raise more awareness about the project. We have done most of the legwork, so we are now at this stage where we just need content creators and just promote the project, have as many different entities, organizations wanted to be involved in the project as well.
Well, don't forget, reach out to me when you need volunteers. I'm very good at manual labor. I listen. I take direction. I could be very good worker for you, Betirri. This is a great vision. I like it. Obviously, you got to navigate a little bit the whole political scene in Houston, present the idea, and then obviously get the dollars. So it's a big undertaking, but it's a fantastic idea. And the fact that you live there, I think, makes it even more impactful.
Yes, thank you. And yeah, that was part of the legwork that we have been doing for all these years. Also, we have registered as a nonprofit, so we have Gold Park Foundation. With that, we're able to execute the project in a larger scale also, and become eventually a conservancy to also help maintaining the park in the future. We have the Edo Management District on board, agreed on maintaining the park until a certain point. We have to come to the design process where we're going to have every detail of the design ready by the end of this year. So right now we have this vision plan, and with that we're able to start working on the fundraising part.
Betirri, fantastic stuff. I'll tell you, my listeners, goalpark.org, goalpark.org. It's the Edo Project. Betirri, the creative element behind this. Wonderful thing. There's nothing better than continuing to take care of downtown and the places that we live in. So great idea. Betirri, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Let's stay in touch, and I'll keep people updated on your progress as well.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and and having this space for us.
You got it. It's Betirri, fantastic artist too, by the way. Goldpark.org. Okay, let's wrap it up tonight. A couple of things here. You can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Glenn Davis Sock, GlennDavisSoccer.com if you want to find out a little bit more about the host. Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple, ESPN975.com. All the interviews our man Guillermo Lazo Romero is posting. And by the way, he does a fantastic job not only of producing this show, but also putting out some of the clips. You may have saw the compilation of some of the goals from the Houston Dynamo in this past season that we put out on Twitter or X. Got close to 3,000 looks, I think, and I think people enjoyed kind of reliving that a little bit. So thank you, Guillermo, for getting all that done. We'll have clips from this show put out tomorrow. We'll continue to bring you the best in soccer talk. So you can go to YouTube, Soccer Matters, and you can subscribe to that channel, or I could even say our Soccer Matters TV station, right? Be a big timer, right? Be a big shot. But all the likes, the hits, the comments, all of these things are very important. Certainly for helping me keep this on the air. So now more than ever, I'm asking you, interact, give it a like, take a look, whatever it is, and always remember that you can suggest things to me, and I'm pretty easy to find on social media, which it's all out there. All right, so that's going to do it tonight here. For my producer, Guillermo Lazo Romero, all of you who tuned in tonight, all of you who are going to listen on the podcast. Big thanks to the artist Betirri for coming on the program here tonight. And as always, we remind you, 7 o'clock Central Time this Thursday, we're back in action. I got a couple of great guests I'm working on right now. So we'll get a couple more interviews on that Thursday edition. Best at Soccer Talk. It's local. Lives on. Remember, till Thursday night, Soccer Matters.